Okay, welcome in, folks. We are going to let people trickle in, and we're going to get started probably in 2 minutes. Of course, this is recorded and will be posted on our socials as well. We'll post a link in general. So feel free to come and go as you need. This will be here for you to watch at any time. Okay, welcome in. Welcome to Livepeer Fireside, everybody. Super great to have y'all today. We will be hearing from a number of people. Just want to start with some quick housekeeping things. First, for those watching not in our Discord, we have this event in our Discord, so feel free to join the community, scan the QR code here, and that will take you to the Discord where you can, connect with the ecosystem and see all the amazing things that are going on. Also, Livepeer Inc. has launched a new product called Daydream. And if you're interested, it's real-time video AI or live video AI, as we've been recently calling it. So feel free to scan this QR code to go there. And then for the content session today, we will be doing an AMA with StreamETH. Then we're going to be having some updates from Doug on his visit to Congress. And finally, we'll be ending on Rich talking about the advisory board survey that is going to be going live today. So we will be inviting up Pablo in a second. I just wanted to note some community announcements. We had a poll that recently was done for if we want to do another water cooler. It slightly passed. Most people had no preference. So I'm thinking that we might wait off on creating another water cooler for a different time zone, just because it wasn't like an overwhelming interest. But if folks are really passionate about it, feel free to drop it in general, and I'm always open to pushing that through and seeing if folks end up attending. Also, I'll be getting out an announcement for the second half of this month on Friday. So look out for that. We have some pretty exciting announcements. Finally, the core dev call, which was being run by Sheelin and Rick, is being canceled. So we're going to pause that event for now. And we might restart in the future as we continue to develop our ecosystem. All right, so let's welcome up Pablo, and let's get the AMA kicked off. Hey, Pablo, how are you doing?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome in.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it's a good day. Let me get my notes up here. So, yeah.
What's up?
StreamETH has been big in the industry, so I'm just curious if you first want to context set us for what StreamETH does.
Yes. Hello, everyone in the audience. Happy to see you guys. So quick recap of what we do at StreamETH. So we have kind of like one product and one service. The service is focused around providing video support to events. So we work closely with the Ethereum Foundation, where we basically produce DevCon and DevConnect for them, like all the video aspects of that and live streaming aspects. And then we also have a product. We have a decentralized video platform that helps organizations and content creators go live on Livepeer. They can have their own channel page. They can host videos. And we also have like a studio area where they can use our AI tooling offering to produce content, basically. So that's what we do. And we've been doing that for a few years already. I think this is year 3 or 4. I don't know.
Amazing.
But yeah.
And I know you do like so many big events, which is always so valuable for Livepeer's network. And I know you guys are big. So, second question: I know you recently passed an SPE, so I want you to kind of share with the community what the SPE is doing. Any progress you've made there, what that's looking like.
Yeah, we're working hard with the SPE. The main focus of the SPE is to basically, align the brands of StreamETH and Livepeer. So we felt like in the past, StreamETH was providing services to like very big events, but the Livepeer brand was kind of like hidden. So we used Livepeer under the hood, but we weren't really showcasing that. So the idea with the SPE was to basically really forfeit a bit like our brand exposure to highlight Livepeer and the Livepeer network. So yeah, I think it's been quite good so far. We've been basically following our roadmap and servicing the events that we were already servicing and trying to reach to as many people as possible and get the Livepeer brand out there. And so it's been pretty good. And now we have this huge opportunity with DevConnect that's coming up in November in Argentina, which is going to be pretty huge. I think it's going to be the biggest event that the EF has put together so far. We're also, for DevConnect, we're like changing up how the event is. And so we're doing like a world fair that's bringing a lot of the ecosystem participants in the Ethereum community there. Of course, Livepeer is going to be there. We're already working on that. But yeah, Argentina is like a super vibrant ecosystem. Everyone is like very hyped. All eyes are set on the event and the impact that it's going to have. So yeah, most of our time is focused right now on that. And before Argentina, there's also a small project called Destino DevConnect, which aims to support many communities, not only in Argentina, but in Latam. So a lot of communities in Latam, like ETH Rio, ETH Bogota, that they all will do events before that. So we're also involved in supporting those communities live stream their content. So yeah, very busy. Latam is like adopting crypto at a rate that's never seen before, and we're trying to have Livepeer be in the mix as well. So very exciting.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm curious what narratives, because something we've been talking internally a lot at Inc. is like, narratives that will help Livepeer break out. So through your work at StreamETH and also the SP that you launched, what narratives are you finding the most compelling to people on the ground that makes people's eyes light up when you're talking about what we're doing?
Yeah, good question. So I think the holy grail narrative for me is like the whole censorship resistance idea that's like been core to our value proposition since the beginning, and it is like very hard to convey because it's a problem that people don't see until like shit hits the fan.
Right.
But like, and it's also like as a founder, it's also hard to kind of like keep that core to your product because censorship resistance doesn't really make money. But yeah, ultimately you have to stay true to your values, and also I think the SPE kind of like allows that, right? Because it's like
Totally.
a funding source. But yeah, censorship resistance for me is like very important to keep that offering up. So events want to go to YouTube, but you also need to have like this decentralized alternative out there in case things happen, and things are happening. Like we've seen, like the world is a mess right now. So like Russia, Ukraine, places are, literally censored. I'm not gonna judge if it's good or bad, but they are censored. So we don't know who could be next, right? So yeah, to me that's like very valuable. And when you have time to explain why it's valuable, people also like kind of like jump on the idea and push you on. And yeah, of course, I mean, but the easiest like narrative to convey, of course, is like the whole AI. I think Livepeer has a huge opportunity now to kind of push this idea of being the decentralized network for AI compute, specialized on video. So this is very easy to convey, right? People understand this very fast. Like compute cost for AI are like through the roof on AWS and like other compute platforms. So saying that Livepeer is like way cheaper than all the other platforms, and it's permissionless, it's decentralized, it's open source. People really get that fast and are like, oh wow, I didn't know this existed out there. Let me look into it. So yeah, we do a lot of field work. Me especially, I've been doing like a lot of field work, trying to explain what Livepeer does and why Livepeer exists. And when people hear about it, they're really excited. So that's basically
that's a strong position for us to be in. I'm curious, what are some features that StreamETH has that helps it stand apart from competitors? Because I know that you recently integrated Livepeer AI, exploring kind of like AI, the intersection of like AV and AI. So yeah, tell me kind of more about that space for you.
Yeah, good question. I mean, in terms of competition, I think we are like very niche since we're focused on kind of like a B2B aspect. So most of the platforms on Livepeer are more B2C, right? So our customers are usually event companies or people that produce like companies that produce a lot of content, right?
Right.
So we're focused, so we don't have a lot of competition in that sector, I would say. I guess like there's of course Web2 products have the same offering as us. You can think of our main competitor, Vimeo. Of course, they're like gigantic compared to us, but like we have kind of product offering. They pivoted to more like a B2B business model, and we're trying to follow that. And yeah, our feature set right now is focused around making content creation super easy, right? So right now we are building AI video editor that allows you to edit your live streams in real time super easily. So that is very relevant for events because they have like a lot of hours of content for each for the conference, right? So we make it easy for them to edit all their footage very easily and then publish that on their socials super fast to kind of maximize the impact that content has during and after the event. So right now, for instance, DEF CON and ETC also, they use StreamETH and they can get all their like speaker videos out hours after they happen, and that's like pretty special. No other conference do this, and the impact is of course huge. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. The kind of next question is a little bit related to the last one, but more on the conferences side. Conferences side, since you go to so many conferences, I know you're like a wealth of knowledge there. So I'm curious what your thoughts on how conferences are currently being run in Web3 and potentially like where you have identified improvements that could be made and where potentially Livepeer, how we can make more impactful conferences or how we can help improve the conference circuit. Yeah.
Damn, that one's spicy.
We have to make it spicy somehow.
I mean, so 4 years doing events, it's like a short time, but it actually looks like decades.
Yeah,
and like
I feel like it would feel long.
yeah, exactly. Like it's super intense, and the event space has evolved a lot in crypto, especially. I feel like everyone is trying to copy the same recipe of like finding sponsors, finding good speakers, and having like great panels and talks, which is nice. But eventually, I think like the conference circuit is a bit saturated with this. Everyone is like very tired of listening to the same things over and over again, and very tired of being like bombarded by the same sponsors everywhere you go. So I think the trend now is like to do like very intimate events that connect people, right? And I think actually Livepeer is doing great events with Daydream and like with the partners in the network. So like for instance in New York we did a collaboration with UFO and Refraction. I wasn't there, but my team was there, and Nick from UFO was there, and it was really nice. Like having a party where you actually showcase your product and just let people jam and enjoy your product without having to like sit in some chair listening to panels and talks. I think that's the way to go. Overall, right? Like intimacy and connection. I would say those are like the words.
Right.
And I think everyone is trying to do that right now. Of course, you need like panels and talks at some point, but if you have a small budget and a small event, I would say, yeah, keep it small and let people connect as much as possible. That's my idea.
Yeah, so much good stuff there, and I see there's a comment about it's really hard to kind of justify which is going to be high impact for Livepeer, and historically in this I've been in Web3 longer than I've been at Livepeer, and I've always been historically been very bearish on conferences. No shade, but I always feel like how do we get the message out there, right? And what kind of conference structure can we use to break through just the Web3 circuit to a larger persona that might bring in more folks. So really excellent thoughts there. So thanks for sharing them. Any additional ones you want to share?
Yeah. Just continuing on what you were saying, like for Dev Connect, I don't want to spoil too much, but like the whole idea here is, so we're doing this World Fair where we showcase applications. So we don't want to have like some random stands and like people just, the classic ETH stand that everyone hates, or at least I hate. Like we're trying to really make the fair feel alive, right? And to have a lot of new people come in, get them onboarded into a wallet, and get them like using the apps in the ecosystem. And I think it's gonna be like super novel the way we're doing this, and so and it could actually change the direction of how people organize conferences and events in crypto, because like right now we're in the phase where you can actually interact with the apps, right? With like DeFi, with like Livepeer has a bunch of apps already that can be used. Gaming is like already functional. So like we're now in the era of like talking about ideas and like actually use the products in the ecosystem. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, it's something I've noticed at Livepeer as we develop our SPEs. I've been calling it the projectization of the network, and how we're starting to see these like, I think of everything in like images, but you have this large bubble that's Livepeer, and you're starting to see bubbles pop out of it that can stand on their own. That are, I think StreamETH is one of the earliest examples of that, at least that I'm aware of in my tenure here. So yeah, I think we're really starting to come to a compelling era for Livepeer, and I see Casey in the audience who's Soulbound TV. I think that's another example. So we're moving towards a very interesting world here at Livepeer. So in the last minute, I just want to we could have a whole conversation about this, and I have so many opinions on conferences, but my last thing is oh, go ahead.
Yeah, something about the SPEs, because I think it's interesting. Because I've been like in touch with a lot of public good people working in public goods, especially in Optimism,
Right.
the BGF team. And I think what the SPEs right now in Livepeer is like very unique. Not so many ecosystems have like some kind of retro funding or funding program.
Right.
And I do think it's like extremely innovative what's happening here. Like there's no other company or project in history that's able to like dump money into its community and like see what happens, right? And like people from the outside can think it's crazy, but I think now is the time to really, if you have an idea on how to use Livepeer and like if you want to build a project or like a community or something like this, right now is the time to really use the funding of the community to like push your idea out there. And so far, I think most of the SPEs have been highly successful. They have their own path, right, and their own idea of what success is. And I think the community really feels alive right now thanks to the SPs. Like I can see origin stories there, stream, like so many projects in the audience that are part of the SP program. So I think it's been super successful so far. Yeah, so pretty bullish on the SPs and Livepeer.
Yeah, yeah, and my comment there is, I really think that Doug is very pretty visionary in the kind of SP structuring ahead of its time in many ways. That's the power of the chain, right? That's the power of this infrastructure is we can start to explore different economic models and different ways of investment in our communities and in our people. And I think when you actually give people that trust to say, hey, let's decide together what we should invest in, what we should, lift up, right? That idea of community autonomy, a magic starts to happen. I think we're just seeing the beginning of that, of that magic, and I think it'll only continue to accelerate as we continue to bring more people into the community as well as invest in the brilliant people who are already here. So last question, we're a bit over time, so the last question I want to ask is what's next for StreamETH?
Yeah, like I said, Argentina, from the service perspective and from a product perspective, we actually have quite an interesting project in collaboration with UFO. So we're actually thinking of forking StreamETH into what I call like the Livepeer CMS. But yeah, I'll share more details down the road. But it's basically making an open source project that allows people to very easily use the network with some kind of like data structures that you need to build video applications. So Livepeer allows you to upload a video, but like you need to attach some metadata around that video. And right now that's not possible. So that's why we're thinking about making this open source CMS. Yeah, Web3 video CMS. So yeah, that's something very interesting, that an opportunity that just came up to work on with UFO. So I'll keep you guys and girls and everyone updated. So
Yeah, that's super exciting stuff. Now, where can people find you, your personal as well as StreamETH?
StreamETH is at StreamETH on Twitter, and my Twitter I can leave it in the chat, or you can find it through StreamETH most likely, and you can find me in Lisbon. That's where I live, but.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much, Pablo. This is a great conversation. Thank you for all the hard work promoting and developing Livepeer's network. Always a pleasure.
Yes. Adios. Thank you.
Bye. All right, man. I'm excited. Like that conversation was really good. Man, I could talk about conferences forever. I have like I'm gonna have to go on Twitter and like vomit all over everybody because I have so many thoughts. Anyway, we have a super exciting section now for with Doug. I am so hype talking to the U.S. government. How iconic! Welcome up, Doug, and I will stop sharing. And feel free to share. I am so hyped to hear about this. The hero we need, very much so.
Excellent. Excellent. Let's see if I can get through to share my screen successfully here. What am I?
And if not, I can always share as well.
How do let's see, share this window. All right. I think we're up and running. Yeah, thanks
Not
for
seeing on my end. Oh, it just came
not
through. Okay,
seeing-
yes, we're up and running. Continue.
Great. Okay. So yeah, thanks for inviting me up here to just do a quick 5-minute share on something that I spent 48 hours on last week, which was a quick fly-in to Washington, D.C., the capital here in the United States, to meet with regulators to advocate for sound crypto and decentralized AI policy. A little bit of background work that's important to do because it helps the whole industry and helps ensure that no harm comes to types of projects like us. And hopefully it benefits everyone. So I'll just give a quick summary of what happened, what it was, what we advocated for. Can take any quick questions. I'm not going to make the whole case for decentralized AI to this group who's heard it many times, but happy to answer any questions if it's of interest. Um, cool. So let me flip through the slides here. Um, what I'm showing here is just a couple of photos. There was this fly-in organized by our friends over at Digital Currency Group to bring in um, founders and execs and subject matter experts from across the crypto industry. And they set up, I think, 4 or 5 different working groups who would have meetings on different subjects. There was a working group on stablecoin legislation. There was a group on internet privacy. There was a group on capital market structuring, and then the group I was in was on decentralized AI, and we were largely focused on, um, what decentralized AI is, why it's important, how
Mm.
crypto enables it, um, what benefits it brings to society, and I can talk about some of our goals in a minute. The photos here, you see the top left, you see the decentralized AI group, meeting with executives from Akash and BitTensor and DCG and Near Foundation and Flock. On the top right, you see a panel where we were testifying to an energy commission panel, talking about the importance of using unutilized resources on these decentralized networks instead of building new power plants in order just to power AI data centers. Uh, you see the whole group on the Capitol steps down on the left, and then me and the Capitol down on the right. Um, yeah, some of our initiatives. What we did is in our group, we met with 6 different congressional leaders or their staffs. And the first thing was, it's kind of simple actually, just letting them know that decentralized AI exists and is a thing. And AI is not just entirely created by the 4 big tech companies here in the
Mm.
United States. Um, we wanted them to know what it is and why it's important so that when it comes time to legislate AI, we have a seat at the table, and it's not just the big tech companies that they're listening to. Um, why is that important? We want them to avoid the sins of cryptocurrency regulation, in which basically they uh, were very hostile to cryptocurrency, largely as
Mhm.
lobbied by the big banks and big financial institutional players who
Right.
saw cryptocurrency as a threat. And if the banks and lobbies were the only ones they were listening to, and they were not engaging with the crypto industry, then it's a risk of very bad policy that I think we all felt was very harmful to the industry. It made it very uncertain for how people could participate in these networks, how they could actually be incentivized to be owners in these networks, and actually the industry was driven out of the United States for a long period of time, and that
Right.
was very problematic. One thing that was interesting was that last year's fly-in to DC, as organized by the same group, DCG commissioned a survey of with Harris polls with thousands of people around the United States, and in that survey, it showed that cryptocurrency access and legislation was actually an important issue for 1 out of 5 swing state voters.
Oh,
And then they
wow.
brought that survey to uh, you know, to Washington and to Congress on this fly-in last year, and literally like 2 days later, um, crypto became a prime issue for many candidates,
That's
including
wild.
the presidential candidate
Wow.
who embraced the industry
Mhm.
and got the industry behind them. And I'm not going to comment on for better or worse in terms of people's politics, but it was an issue that they highlighted that then all of a sudden got attention and made cryptocurrency policy far more favorable to the industry because they should. It was important to voters. And on this trip, we did the same thing with voters' opinions of AI, and we showed how important data privacy was to people as like a top
Mm.
issue. How concerned they were about the same big tech companies that they have negative perceptions of, Twitter, X, and Facebook in particular, having full control over the AI stacks, and showed that to show the importance that decentralized and open AI alternatives exist. Um, so, yeah, we showcased the benefits of the industry. We met with congressional staffs and leaders. Greg from Akash, in particular, did a great job testifying to the Energy Committee panel. We really just wanted to say we exist, we're here. Use us as a resource. Reach out when you have questions. When Amazon and Google are taking you out to all sorts of fancy dinners and events and spending money to support your offices, know that there's also an industry here that has something to offer America and the world, and politicians as well. And keep us in the loop. So that's basically a quick and efficient trip. I thought it was a cool opportunity. And for Livepeer specifically, I would just highlight, um, we are very well received because they don't understand the nuances of AI and inference and GPUs and infrastructure and networks and energy routing and all this stuff, but they understand use cases and impacts. And so many of these.
Oh, I think we might have lost Doug. Okay, let's see if he comes back. Yeah, it was just getting good too, Brad. Hold on, let me DM him. Yes, Rick. The firesides are always recorded. You thought I kicked him off the stage. Yeah, these meetings are always recorded, and we'll post the section clips as well on YouTube and Twitter. Oh, well. They're listening. Oh, that's so funny. Are you back, Doug?
Mic check.
Yes, we hear you again. Welcome.
That was so strange.
The power of your voice was too strong.
Just as I start talking about the evils of big tech, I lose my access to the internet.
And that's why DeepIn's important.
Yeah, I think it was strange. I actually saw and heard you and everyone else, but you guys lost me.
Yeah.
I was just saying.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, just saying, like, Livepeer is very well received because it's hard for them to grasp the deep technical details of decentralized AI, right? These Congress people don't understand inference or models or GPU utilization or all these things these other projects are solving, but they understand like real use cases and impacts. So when I talk about video is 80% of the traffic on the internet, and we've shown we can reduce the cost of video compute by 90%. They perk up and they ask how, and they understand, right? And when I can show them the applications that people have built on Livepeer, whether it's things like StreamETH or Soulbound TV or Daydream or whatnot, they can actually connect and say, "Oh, I get it. Livepeer powers this stuff, and it's innovative." So we really have a chance to be an example that gets used and sticks in people's minds, and hopefully shines a light on the good the whole industry is trying to do.
Amazing. Yeah. Incredible work. I thank you for going there. The one question I have is like, how was it sitting in front of them? Were you nervous? How did you feel? Just business as usual.
Good question. I think if I was being grilled on a whole session of Congress representing the whole industry, I might feel a little pressure. But I think walking into their office and sitting at a conference room table with large times their staffers or just these super friendly, politicians who are experts at gripping and grinning. I don't think it's too pressure-filled of a situation.
Awesome. Okay.
But we got to meet with Cory Booker's office from the Senate. We got to meet with the Majority Whip Tom Emmer. We got to meet with Ro Khanna's office from Silicon Valley. So good exposure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Doug, for those updates, and we will keep it pushing. Thank you.
Sure thing.
All right. I mean, wow. Livepeer is doing big things, and I've been saying it forever. Livepeer is really ahead of the game. And I think all of our team is super visionary. Our community as well is visionary in terms of how we're pushing Web3 and crypto forward. So next up, we have Rich from the Livepeer Foundation. So Rich, please jump up on stage and we will jump into your topic. And I invited you up, so. Maybe Rich is not available. Potentially I can invite up one of the other team members. Let me just check in 1 second. Okay, well, I can quickly go over the topic while we wait for Rich to jump up. So Livepeer Foundation, as you guys know, is ramping up, and they are putting out a poll to kind of gauge some community sentiment to give guidance to the advisory boards that are being set up. So the QR code you see on the screen is the way to head to that survey and make your opinions known. So I definitely suggest everyone here and everyone watching async to scan the QR code, do the 3-minute survey. It's really important because as we think about community autonomy, as we think about growing our ecosystem, where we want to go and where the community wants to go, especially in terms of like treasury allocation, on-chain treasury allocation, it's very important that we align together and give the advisory board all the information they need to make those recommendations back to the community, so they're most informed they can be. So yeah, that is. Oh, Joseph, welcome up.
Hello. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you go on camera or?
So I'm actually just on the street at the moment, but I can.
You don't have to. No worries.
That's okay. So sorry, it's a bit. Hello, everyone. I'm Joseph. In case you haven't met me before, I'm with the Livepeer Foundation, leading the comms, and I think I just wanted to add to what N said before Rich comes on and fills everyone in. Yes, I really encourage everyone, regardless of whether you applied for a position or not. This is for everyone in the ecosystem that has interacted in any way, that has an opinion. This is an opportunity for you to share your feedback, say what you think is important. If you have opinions, if you have priorities, if you have frustrations, this is a great chance to get involved in a really, really easy and quick way. And it will have an impact because the feedback that you give and you share here will help shape the activity of the advisory boards. So I just wanted to emphasize that it will have a real impact, and it's really, really quick and easy to do. And we really value any feedback that you give.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joseph. Yeah, it definitely, as we move into the world where Foundation is a part of, the Livepeer ecosystem, and a super powerful tool by which, we can advocate, the community can advocate for, its various desires. We're a big and diverse group of people, so how do we get all those voices heard? How do we figure out what our top priorities are? And how do we figure out how to do those and where the labor comes from to get those priorities done? But I'm super excited. And again, Vengi in the audience, or Ven, is helping with the survey. And then we have, of course, Joseph, Rick, and Rich all in the audience who are a part of the foundation. So thank you, guys. This was the last one. I don't think we're going to be able to catch Rich today. unfortunately, but last call out to join the community. And again, as you've seen here, we're really doing some important, incredible work, not just for the Web3 industry, but for the world as a whole. So definitely jump into our community, join the conversation, do some labor with us so we can continue pushing forward decentralized AI and decentralized video infrastructure. So definitely scan the QR code to jump in. And and that's it for today. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining. We'll get these up as soon as possible, these clips up as soon as possible. And again, it's always a pleasure to present. Oh, hi, Rich.
Hello.
Last comments?
Yes, sorry, have you already presented?
Yeah, we've already kind of wrapping it up, but
fantastic. Have you gone back to the slide already?
Yeah, we've already went. Joseph mentioned it, so we already kind of went over the topic.
Fantastic.
I'm not sure if you want to add anything personally. We can, feel free to.
No, Joe is far more articulate than I could ever be, so I'm glad Joe got to do it instead. No, super excited to get the community feedback in. The advisory boards will be announced by end of week, so that's also a lot happening on the foundation and advisory board front, and super excited to see what the community wants to prioritize over the next 6 months. So
thank you, Rich.
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Again, this is recorded. We're on a recorded line, so you can catch anything you missed. And then, of course, on Twitter, we will be posting it. So feel free to give us a like and retweet there so people can know about all the incredible stuff happening in the community. All right. As Stream.tv said, GG. And see you on the next one. Bye, everyone.